I'm Anastasia Galinska, and today we'll talk how, under the banner of liberalization, with European taxpayers' money, and in violation of Ukrainian and EU law, transport monopolies are being built in Ukraine. It has been 8 years since the association agreement between Ukraine and EU entered fully into force. During this time, the privatization of EU Regulation 3070 on public passenger transport services should have been implemented. This regulation clearly states that all public passenger transport services are services of general economic interests, both profitable and unprofitable. This is not a free market, but an obligation of the state to ensure accessibility, safety, frequency, and quality. This is achieved by granting exclusive rights to a single carrier on a given route, and in some cases by providing subsidies. The same principle is set out in the law of Ukraine on motor transport. Instead, Ukraine was led in the opposite direction from the EU norms. The initiator was BRDO, an organization funded by the European Union. It developed a criminal scheme to monopolize a profitable part of route network, calling it liberalization. Former Minister Omelian introduced it through governmental resolution number 180. We already raised this issue back in 2021 with Deputy Minister of Infrastructure Mustafa Naim.
Following one of our conferences, we sent a letter about the so-called application-based principle of monopolization by Omelian, which is aimed at destroying the national carrier and leaving 4 or 5 companies. That's a quote.
This is about passenger transport.
Here's my question. Your steps are excellent, very successful, because safety is paramount. A lot is improving now, specifically at the State Service for Transport Safety, which is encouraging. Will there be steps to ensure public access to the Tender Committee? And we are awaiting an invitation for representatives of the Youth Transport Council.
Yes, let's do that. First, if we are talking about this, off the record. Look, regarding, about Order 251. It regulates passenger transport, the competition details.
This resolution number 180 not only violates current legislation, it also does not comply with the requirements of EU Regulation 1370.
All right, I agree. I won't even interrupt. Look, we will change it now. A new draft of this order has already been developed. It will be open for public discussion. We want to liberalize everything related to passenger transport, to make sure there is no market monopolization. That's the first. And second, to make travel cheaper, because right now, bus fares in Ukraine cost more than in the European Union. Just imagine that. We know the conditions, we know the roads, but still it costs more. Not because it is harder here, but because of market monopolization.
Opening the market is merely a factor of monopolization, and that's not a market. Public transport is a state obligation. It's not an open market.
Let's talk. Look, there are different routes. There are social routes, socially important ones, that the state must provide for beneficiaries. But there are also regular inter-rare.
Inter-regional services. Right now we're talking about tenders for inter-regional services.
The tenders will be liberalized and public. So let's do this. Let's exchange contacts. And next week, you can meet with us, with our team.
The tender committee hasn't changed for 3 years, and everyone who applies and meets the conditions can operate. But it's impossible that at the same time, 5 buses depart. That's simply illogical.
Here I will argue. I don't care how many buses run.
No.
100.
They can't all depart, because this is about safety.
Whoever is better.
Which better? There's safety, and from a road safety standpoint, only 1 may be allowed. 5 of them won't go out on the road. Road safety must prevail. We're at the State Transport Safety Service now.
We need to discuss this, because there are issues. Believe me, some of what you're saying is actually supported by the monopolists. Let's exchange contacts.
Okay.
Do you have a card?
No.
Let's exchange. Look, here is our colleague Dorina. Dorina is ready to take your details. All right? Good. Then it's agreed. Thank you. We'll meet next week.
It is clear that we were never invited to any meeting, and the promised repeal of this unlawful resolution has still not taken place. Under our pressure, a draft resolution to cancel monopolization scheme was nevertheless prepared, and even approved by their regulatory services on September 2022. But to this day, it has not submitted to government to review. An important detail: the Minister of Infrastructure who blocked the submission of this draft resolution was Alexander Kubrakov, a former member of BRDO, the very organization who designed this unlawful scheme. Today, this scheme being extended to international transportation. Numerous international routes have been opened, but in reality carry domestic passengers within Ukraine. They are taking resources away from legitimate domestic carriers who operate on internal routes, while the state transport safety services avoid proper control on transport types. As a result, domestic carriers are being pushed into bankruptcy, villages are losing regular connection, and the 4 or 5 monopolies, once promised by Omelian, are now clearly appearing. Now it's unclear whenever there will be consequences for using EU funds to push this monopoly, but we will see, and we will keep watching.